Okay, so today what we're going to be working through is our stretch series to really open up in through the bicep and the chest. So for those of us who could possibly spend a lot of time in that hunch position at work, like so, what we're going to aim to do is really, instead of being in that internal rotated position and protraction of the scapula, what we're going to try to do is really open up in through where the bicep and the chest have their attachment points. We're going to do that down on the ground. There's just a few things. I'm not going to speak about it when I'm down on the ground. That's just because my head will be facing the ground and I want to be able to speak to you and be able to tell you what I'm looking for in this stretch. But if we do find ourselves naturally in that internally rotated position, in this stretch we're going to be laying down on the actual arm itself. So you want to avoid being in that internal position when we do stretch out. So what I want you to think about is actually rotating that shoulder and pulling it, depressing it down a little bit to actually allow it to sit back in the socket. So we're pretty lucky with the shoulder and the hips, like we can stretch them in different ways. Unlike your elbow or your knee where you've just got that one hinge point. So sit your shoulder back, pull it back down into its socket, and then we're really going to aim to stretch and open up in through the chest and the bicep insertion there. If you do feel some sort of pinching, just stop there. You should feel like a really good sensation of the stretch all the way down in through the chest. This is going to allow us to open up for our overhead positions, give us more range in our things like our pushing movements, maybe getting up and down to the ground even if we're at that stage. So what I'll do is I'll just set this camera up. I'm going to work through what we call the Y, the T, A, and some other crazy position, but I'll work from down all the way to above the head in those 4 positions. Great, so that's all those positions done. What you will notice there, some key points in actually getting into the stretch, is that I used the bottom leg that I was laying on, so my left hand leg, I then swung my right hand leg over the top to be able to kind of lock myself in position there. And on some of them, you would have noticed my limited range in reaching back, and that's something that you'll discover for yourself as well, but that is because I find myself quite internally rotated, tight chest and biceps. Give those positions a play with. I'll be surprised if you don't feel the stretch. And yeah, that's our prone laying chest and bicep series.